Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack some of those really counterintuitive parts of being human, trying to find the logic hidden maybe underneath the chaos. And today, we are wrestling with a big one, a real paradox that trips so many of us up in relationships.
Yeah, it's a profound one.
Why do we often run fastest and hardest from the very love we think we crave the most?
It's completely baffling when you first think about it, isn't it? I mean, imagine you've spent years, maybe, looking for connection.
Right.
And then you finally meet someone who's genuinely capable of, reliable warmth. They smile warmly. They actually seem interested in the little details of your day.
We show up.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Exactly. Consistent affection. And what happens?
Instead of that warmth feeling like, comfort, it lands like a threat, almost physically. That feeling of satisfaction you expect is just bypassed, gone, replaced by this urgent, almost nauseous feeling inside.
Yeah, that internal alarm bell.
And the impulse isn't to lean in, it's to run, to sabotage maybe, to just create distance, fast.
And that intense panic right when you find emotional safety. That's what we're diving into today.
We really want to move beyond those easy labels, don't we? Things like commitment phobia or fear of intimacy.
Absolutely. Because those labels, they describe the symptom, but they completely miss the origin story, the genesis of it all.
So our mission today, for you listening, is hopefully to provide that aha moment. We want to reframe this avoidance.
We're looking deep into the connection between your emotional past, specifically maybe a history of emotional scarcity, and how you react today when abundance shows up.
Okay, let's really try and unpack this core tension.
Right. I think to really get it, we have to start with a strong mental picture, a kind of analogy. Let's think about the body, okay? Specifically, its physical ability to process food, nourishment.
Okay, so let's picture maybe someone who grew up in a place with real poverty, like serious material and nutritional lack.
Exactly. Their diet was incredibly restricted, just the bare minimum needed to survive. And crucially, their digestive system. It adapted to that scarcity. It learned to function on almost nothing.
Conserving every scrap of energy, never expecting more?
It was a sophisticated survival mechanism, really. Born out of desperation, but clever.
Now, common sense would tell you, if that person is finally given abundance, like a feast, a huge, rich plate of food.
You'd think they'd dive right in, wouldn't you? Finally restore what they missed, feel satisfied at last.
Yeah.
But the body, it doesn't run on common sense like that. It runs on learned adaptation, what it knows.
So the opposite happens.
The opposite happens. Their system, built for famine, suddenly encounters richness, and it registers it almost like poison.
Wow.
The complexity, the sheer density of nutrients, it's overwhelming. Just seeing that full plate, the very thing they consciously wanted for so long, it triggers intense anxiety. They might even get physically sick.
Their system literally rejects the nourishment it needs to heal.
Precisely.
That's such a powerful image because it completely reframes the problem, doesn't it?
It does.
The issue isn't a lack of desire for the food or the love. It's the adapted system's inability to actually process the abundance.
And if we map that directly onto love and affection, the parallel is just, well, it's heartbreakingly clear.
We're talking about emotional digestion.
Exactly. What happens when someone grows up in a home where affection or validation or just basic emotional attention was severely rationed? Maybe it was minimal or totally unreliable or always conditional.
They learn a strategy, right?
Yeah.
A logical one, even if it's painful. They learn to want very little from other people.
They basically lower their internal expectations down to zero because wanting something, needing something that you just couldn't get reliably, that was too dangerous, too painful.
So the ability to need almost nothing becomes the main defense.
Yes. And that's why later in life, in adulthood, when real emotional plenty finally arrives, it doesn't feel like safety or comfort.
It feels like danger.
It feels like danger. It's too rich, too much, too complex for a system that was built to survive on chronic emotional starvation.
And you see this play out tragically in relationship dynamics all the time. Like those specific examples you mentioned earlier, when a partner shows huge interest in the details of your life.
Instead of feeling cared for, the adapted person feels smothered, suffocated.
Right.
Because their partner is asking for more connection, more engagement than their internal system is really equipped to handle. The immediate reaction, panic, retreat.
And what about, say, someone wanting to spend every evening together, planning things, sharing routines?
That doesn't feel like being wanted. It feels like being trapped,
It-
utterly
It's
trapped.
like a boundary violation.
Exactly. It's emotional overstimulation, and those old defensive walls just slam right back up instantly.
Even something like admiration gets twisted.
Oh, absolutely. When a lover expresses genuine admiration, maybe gives a heartfelt compliment, instead of feeling good, feeling validated.
You feel inadequate.
Intense inadequacy, yeah. The system just can't compute the compliment because accepting it would mean trusting in an abundance that deep down you were taught doesn't really exist or isn't safe.
Okay, but hang on. How do we know this isn't just, well, self-sabotage?
Okay.
Or someone being immature, avoiding responsibility? What's the difference?
That's a really crucial distinction. Self-sabotage kind of implies a willful destruction of happiness, maybe? This feels different. This intense discomfort we're talking about, it's like a central legacy of that earlier deprivation.
It's a mechanism running way past its expiry date.
Exactly. And the intensity of the reaction is often the clue. Remember that extreme example. If a partner starts talking seriously about marriage, about a real future together,
A first impulse might be, what? To run off and flirt with an ex.
or just create some kind of immediate, maybe painful drama, anything to break the connection.
That need for chaos is so telling, isn't it?
It really is.
That lunge towards unreliability or even pain.
Mm,
It's not really about wanting the ex, is it? It's about a desperate need to get back to what feels familiar.
familiar scarcity. Reliable scarcity. The body is almost screaming, this abundance is overwhelming me. I have to get back to the emotional diet I know how to survive on.
It's trying to reestablish those old familiar boundaries of deprivation.
Precisely. It shows the discomfort is now in the driver's seat.
And this brings us to, I think, the most important and compassionate step, how we reframe this condition.
We absolutely have to move beyond seeing it as some kind of pathology or meanness or emotional evil even.
Right. It's not a moral failing.
Okay.
Fundamentally, it's the result of a melancholy, maybe difficult upbringing.
It's a learned response to scarcity.
And if we can accept that, really accept it, then the path forward isn't fighting the feeling with shame or anger. It's about communicating the condition with courage.
Explaining it, first to ourselves maybe.
Definitely first to ourselves, and then, if it feels safe and possible, to a loving partner.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Because if the partner understands the origin story, understands the scarcity background, then the kindest, most generous thing they can do is actually quite counterintuitive.
It's not to just pour on more love, more reassurance, more abundance.
No. It's to slow it down, to meter it out. We need that concept of titration.
Titration, like in chemistry.
Yeah.
Adding something drop by drop.
Exactly like that. In this context, it's the measured, careful delivery of emotional nourishment. It's like making a generous request. Look, I want your love, I trust your love, but my system right now is wired to reject it if it comes too fast, too strong.
So you're asking for love in very small, manageable doses, not the whole feast all at once.
Right. You're saying, I need time to process this goodness.
But practically, what does that actually look like? If your partner is naturally very expressive, very loving, how do they do this teaspoon thing without feeling like they're being rejected
Right.
or insulting you?
Well, that's where the communication has to start with explaining the why. The partner needs to understand deep down, you are not being rejected.
They're being trusted.
You're being trusted with a really vulnerable truth about how my system works right now, and I'm asking you to help me recalibrate it.
So they're not suppressing their love. They're just adapting the delivery method.
Exactly, adapting the delivery. And there are specific examples, right? Titration means really respecting that the person genuinely needs time alone, even when the relationship feels great.
Okay.
It means hugs might need to be deliberate, maybe not constant or overwhelming. Compliments, maybe spaced apart a bit. Give them time to actually land, to be processed without triggering that old inadequacy defense.
That teaspoon analogy really is powerful, isn't it? It changes the whole dynamic.
It does. It shifts it from feeling like rejection to feeling like cooperation.
I love that image. I really appreciate the loveliness. I just need to take it in with a teaspoon for now. That takes the sting out of it immediately.
It gives you both a shared language, doesn't it? So the avoidant partner can say, hey, I need a teaspoon right now, instead of panicking and thinking, oh, God, I need to break up and call my ex.
Right. It validates the need for space, but also confirms the commitment to the relationship, paradoxically.
And crucially, it helps the loving, perhaps more abundant partner stop falling back on those damaging labels.
They stop seeing their partner as just, broken by commitment phobia.
And start seeing them as someone who is recovering recovering from a period of emotional starvation, and learning to digest nourishment again.
What really stands out to you about the power of looking at it this way? For me, it's getting back to that idea of logic.
Yes. That avoidance strategy, back when it started, it was a very logical, very intelligent adaptation to emotional scarcity. It probably saved them in some way.
But understanding where that feeling came from, the genesis of it, that's when you get that critical shift in perspective, right?
Exactly. You start to realize, okay, my caution, my defensiveness, it has finally outlived its purpose.
The wall that kept me safe from the starvation back then, it's now actively keeping me away from the nourishment I need now.
The environment has changed. The relationship landscape might actually be abundant now, but that deep, old memory of deprivation is still running the show, still running the defense protocols.
It's the tragedy of adaptation, isn't it? The protection mechanism built for survival is now hindering the very healing and growth we desperately want.
Mhm.
So, okay, we've established that running from love is often the body's old memory of scarcity kicking in when faced with today's plenitude.
And the goal isn't to just somehow eliminate that fear instantly. It's more about managing the speed of the love coming in, using that teaspoon approach to slowly, gradually build trust in abundance.
So what does this mean going forward? What's the ultimate aim here?
Well, I think the ultimate goal is to move past that constant defensive posture, to finally feel able, maybe for the first time, to actually bear the ecstasy and the plenitude of mutual love.
Which means slowly dismantling that defensive structure we built, the one that felt so necessary for so long.
We have to stop protecting ourselves quite so assiduously against the very thing that can nourish and heal us now.
It takes conscious effort, doesn't it, to
Yeah.
actively retrain the system.
It really does. And maybe it raises a really important question for you listening to carry away from this.
Which is?
Now that you perhaps understand why you built that complex wall, that protection against emotional abundance, and now that the original threat of starvation might actually be gone, is your deeply ingrained caution still truly serving you, or is it now maybe just protecting you from your own growth?